Hello. Sending no data. All right. Hey everyone. Hopefully this is working. It's saying it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Just might have to push through and hopefully it's working. Let me know in the chat if it's just too bad to carry on. But today I just wanted to update on how I'm looking at the market. Obviously, we had a false breakout of the levels. Now, my original way of looking at this was I had a horizontal level in there for resistance and tested it. never got back above this level here, which obviously that's going to be something I need to put into my trading rules, is always wait for the breakout past the initial breakout. So the retest is only really confirmed once we get the retest is only really confirmed if we get back up and clear this level here. Okay. Once we get a closure above that, confirmed, let's go again. But we never got. So I did put in a long somewhere around here. I saw on the 1 hourly or 4 hourly, I saw a bullish engulfing and thought it was away. So took the trade and hit market of taking my money. So anyway, that was that move. Been super busy at work the last week, so I haven't really done much trading on it. Just been watching this move here. It looks like, again, we're forming a little bit of a base, same sort of thing as we did around here. I do expect us to go back up, but really nothing's going to be confirmed until we clear this region here now. And the reason why is last night we had this sort of consolidation in here, and I was looking at a move to the upside. I expect at some stage we will be retracing back up into these levels. In the near future, I would hope it gets up to here, but at the moment, I would expect it to retrace through here. I'll show you why on the Trader's Reality chart in a second. But at the same time, kind of need a strong breakout from these wicks, I think. Looks like it's trying on the hourly at the moment, just to get a move back up. Now we're coming into weekend, long weekend, probably going to be low trading volumes, so it could go either way. We just got to keep an eye on it. It could come down to this trend line as well. In reality, if it wanted to go max pain on a lot of people, it could break back down into this level as well. So that's the very, very long-term trend line. If we go to a monthly, go to the monthly, that trend line, gigantic channel, just the bottom of the wicks there. So potentially it could come down into there. This trend line here is more I think it was the weekly closes. The weekly closes were sort of touching that trend line. So it's expect a bit of support off that as well. But if we start breaking below that, then I think so I'll move over to Trader's Reality. It's an indicator I've been playing with lately, and have a feeling. Drop me a chat if the video is okay. YouTube's telling me it's shit, so saying I've dropped about 206 frames. Anyway, I'll keep going. Let's go to Trader's Reality. So this is a really interesting indicator, and I would encourage you to go over and have a look at Trader's Reality YouTube and start learning it, because the way the guy talks about the market and the market maker, which is sort of a fictional being that's controlling the market. It could actually be institutions and stuff, but the best way to think of it is a fictional being where the market's just trying to extract as much money as possible from everybody else, everybody that's in the game. And the interesting thing about this is these candles, the way they color the candles, green candles are basically a hell of a lot of trades, not necessarily the total volume trade, it's the total number of trades that is being looked at with that green candle. Whereas the red is the same, but it's obviously a negative candle, so it's a downtrend candle. Now they call these vectors, and it gives you a strong indication of where the market's heading. It's all very relative to this 50 EMA, which is the blue line. The pink area or the purple area is just a Bollinger Band around that. Expect if you get any sort of turnaround, it could happen anywhere within that Bollinger Band. But the way he actually had a video this morning which described what happened in this area, and it makes sense. Basically, it's just the market trying to extract everything out of you, and then it's coming back down to try and claim some of the areas where there's been liquidity. And really interesting to look at this on the lower time frames. It's probably one of the better indicators for me on the lower time frames as really happening. To see a major move to the upside, we really need to get back above this 50 EMA. So we didn't do that. We failed to get in there. We had some big push up, this vector candle. Basically, the market wants to come back down into this area and extract as much that liquidity as possible. It doesn't necessarily do it straight away, but they're sort of key regions that we look at using this indicator. So it's obviously done that. It's come back down. It's reclaimed that whole candle already. There's not much left of here for the market to reclaim. The only one would be is if we do come back over here. Even there, that's sort of been reclaimed. This big negative candle here has already sort of been reclaimed. So I am expecting upwards movement from here at some stage. And we are off support here, so this short-term trend line is going to provide support. Well, it should provide support. You can never 100% guaranteed, and obviously, as always, this is not financial advice, just the way I'm looking at the market. But, you know, looking at this, it wouldn't surprise me if this is what Traders Reality calls a W pattern forming. So basically we got this could end up being a big W, in which case this formation, which would indicate we're going higher up, you would expect it to come back in here, close above the 50 EMA, retest both this area and for the 50 EMA, and then head higher. And because we've got these candles in here that haven't been reclaimed yet, we've got a lot of this red candle that needs to be reclaimed, we've got a lot of this red candle that needs to be reclaimed, and this one's. So somewhere up here would be a good position to take some profits around that 43, 380. And then you'd expect another little bit of consolidation area. And that's where we need to reassess and see if it's going to come up and take these candles. Okay. There is every chance that we will test the top of this range again, if not break out through it. We've reclaimed using this method. It looks like we've reclaimed a lot of the liquidity, a lot of those vector candles back through the last few months. So this could be the start of the little pump that we expected back up to around the 51,000 mark, but nothing's confirmed yet. So this is why it's so important to wait for confirmation and that retest. So if you're going to look for confirmation, somewhere around this level here, if price action heads up here, you want to be looking at the top of your candles here as the level. Let's just say it gets to that point there. That's the level at which you want to see closure on the shorter time frames, probably the hourly. You want to see closure above that. You want to see a wick closure above that there. And then you'd be taking the trade and you'd have a take profit somewhere up here. And your stop loss would be just below whatever it bottomed out to in that area. Okay. If you don't do that, chances are, it does what it did to me the other day and it just keeps going down through. Basically, it just gets confirmed as a false break and we come back down and retest these levels here. So it will depend a little bit on how we get to this point as well. Are there big vector candles or does it make its way up relatively slowly? Generally, I'd like to see it sort of make its way up fairly slowly, sort of like this, and then maybe have a vector candle towards the top, and then we retrace to that vector candle and then head up from they're the sort of things that I'm looking at just based on this trader's reality, plus obviously the overall just your normal TA. That's a quick intro into what I'm looking at here. Obviously there's all these M1, M2 levels and stuff. I'm still learning them, but by the look of it, they're pretty critical as well. I think that's maybe the weekly day. So yeah, really enjoying the trader's reality stuff. I think it flips the way you think about things a little bit, and takes a lot of the emotional stuff out of it. So I think that would be a pretty good breakout. Just the fact that we get above the 50 EMA on the 4 hourly in particular. We'd come back down to sort of some key levels and then head off again. Would make a lot of sense. Obviously, we're looking for any sort of break below this trend line. Would see us retesting about 38 grand mark. If we fail through that, then look out, it's probably around the 6,000 mark based on what I'm looking at. That's about it that I had today. I'll do a quick scan. BTC short is coming down slowly. So BTC shorts is coming down. That's a good sign. Yeah, that's suggesting we may see some upside. Obviously, the Nasdaq and stuff has been hammered overnight. Again, so it did open high and close low. So it looks like it's coiling for something. Which way it goes, we'll see. Yeah, that's I think that's broken below. Bye. Pretty disappointing closes there, really. No, the market's still trying to decide where it's going. That's obviously dropping down. The US 2-year 10-year. That's not a bad sign, but I would be expecting that to climb again in the relative near term. Have a quick look at Ethereum. Ethereum's doing something very similar to Bitcoin. again, looking for this W pattern. But Ethereum's obviously holding up quite a bit better. One thing I do like doing is if there is a trend line, particularly that's pretty consistent, or it's got some hit points that can form a channel, I like using the clone tool so I get the same slope, because it's amazing how often that slope is the same. In which case, if we're looking at this, could be a big bear flag, could just be a consolidation channel. And if we do clone this one, there's sort of an interesting area in there where we've had a bit of price action around this level. We're sort of in this zone here where it's probably going to coil a bit, looking for the break to the upside. But again, Ethereum's looking quite strong. If we look at Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, it's still in that upward trend there. I'll just throw trade on this and see what. So Ethereum may have a bit of downside. Actually, it doesn't have many vectors on the daily there. It may come back, test this 50 EMA, which would potentially clear that vector candle as well before heading back up. That is a big rejection candle though on the red. So it might not. That's suggesting that the market might be happy with all the money it's extracted in this area. Might not need to go down, retest that. But we haven't tested the 50 yet either on the daily. So at some stage it is going to come back to the big blue vector there, which and when will it come back down? Don't know. 50 seems to be supporting it at that point. A little bit of indecision in the market coming into the, I think, real strong indications either way. Elliott, not much doing around here. It's sort of reclaimed most of these already. It may actually have some downside. Bitcoin, you might find Bitcoin goes a bit harder than Ethereum in the next move, if the move is to the upside. All right, that's about it. One I was going to point out is one of the ones that I've been looking at in the past. Is it lossless? And it's actually been going well. Got a bit of a negative candle at the moment. But if we go to the daily, yeah, so that's a great little retest of the 50 on the daily there, and heading up again. Big vector candle, so it's not great, but it seems to be running pretty hard. That's a volume too. We could actually retrace that before we go any higher. Big volume, big green candle. One to keep an eye on. I've actually taken a few profits out of this because I was in back down around around this mark is where I bought in, somewhere around there. So taking a little bit of profit off the table. Still looking reasonably strong. A few of these small caps. Sol's not great. They're my long-term DCA coins anyway.